So we are live. Hi, Maree. How are
Hi,
you?
Elisa. Oh, I'm fantastic. Thank you. I've had the best week because it's the first week I've not been in a job. And I'm just, oh, it's so wonderful. I know it's been amazing. And yeah, so because I got ousted from my job for not following a certain policy because there's a lot of harsh mandates here in Australia. But it's the best gift I've ever been given because I can now really focus on doing all of this beautiful spiritual work and sort of counseling and helping people. So I'm loving it.
That is fantastic. Freedom, freedom, freedom. That's what I think we came to learn. And before I continue, I want to welcome everybody to Beyond Quantum Tarot. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, whether you're here live or whether you are watching the video afterwards. We are so very grateful that you're here. We are so very grateful that you're sharing this time on earth with us. And, it's just really exciting times. Everything seems to be moving along now. Have you seen the news? In the UK, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube, but have you seen the videos of people serving papers to the, clinics that do the thing?
It's amazing, and I think it's great when people stand up in their sovereignty and really take action. It's such a beautiful big opening for everywhere else, in the world to move forward as well. It's
I
just
know it
wonderful.
is so exciting, so exciting that this is all happening finally. It seems like it's finally here. The time is finally here. The time we've been waiting for is starting. We're starting.
Yeah, and I think this is actually going to be a big transition for a lot of people that maybe aren't as aware as, our beautiful people watching and us. And that's when we're going to really have to step up and just have so much compassion and just understand that this is a real shock for a lot of people. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. So exciting.
It is
So
exciting.
tell me about you're in Australia. You're in one of the places that's like out of the entire world that is, the most locked down. So what have you seen in the streets over there? Or anything
Look,
that's
we're really blessed where we are in this particular place. Well, I say blessed, but I'm not allowed anywhere. All I can do is go and get food. I can go to the beach. I can go to my friends' homes, and that's it. Literally, I mean, so people are still wearing these, and I've never done that. But yeah, but I've never been questioned either. So I feel. But if I was sort of further south, down in our beautiful state of Victoria, it's a whole different story. So I'm really blessed as to where I am, even though, and with my mindset, I'm like, well, this just gives me more opportunity to have time at home and to enjoy, who I am, what I'm doing. It's depending how it's looked at, I think. But yeah, it's pretty tough. Most of these states now, we call them states, are on the same, platform with the same mandates, and so but it'll break. I know it will. It will. So yeah,
it's coming. It's
it's
coming.
coming.
I mean, it happened in the UK and it's happened
Yeah,
somewhere else. I can't remember the other place, but so it's happening.
Israel. Yeah, also yeah, lots of places,
It's
and I mean they
happening.
were the hardest hit initially. So you know, um, so yes, I just have a lot of faith that it's all just rolling out perfectly, and I don't take anything personally, even being sacked. It's like it's all perfect at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a blessing. It's a
it's a
blessing.
blessing. Yeah,
And yeah, so
it is.
exciting. So anything new from Jasper?
Oh, yes, actually, there is. Here's Jasper. He wants to say hello to everyone. So, if anyone's tuned into Jasper, I think there might have been a few people because I was going up to the mountain to stay with my friend, and I said to Jasper, "Do you want to come along?" Because that's his favorite person. And he had pulled all his energy in, and he was really focused. And it was like, "No, I'm busy." I went, "Oh my goodness, I actually think he's chatting to people." So, if anyone tuned into Jasper, let us know. What happened, but Yeah, so, and I also got a big insight through Jasper as well, which I can share with you now if you like. And it was around our world and how we look at our world in a linear 3D way. He actually showed me, because I tuned in to see, well, can you explain more of who you are? And it was interdimensional. There's not space out there as we maybe perceive it. It's completely interdimensional. It's within this realm of, and there's lots of realms, but everything is through wormholes. Everything is through vortexes. There's no out there. And this came through at such a deep level for me. I've sort of known it, but I really felt it. And he showed me that, yes, he's deep within a cosmos that is interdimensional. And so, yeah, it comes through dimensions. That's where he comes from. So it's
Oh,
not in
wow.
space as we perceive space. So I don't know if anyone else has any ideas on this or has had any insights. I really feel this is a big shift in consciousness for everyone as well. So, yeah, it'd be great to hear what people have to say. So
Yeah, absolutely. That makes total sense. And that reminds me that today we were gonna talk to him about, not to him, but to the cards,
Yep.
about crystals.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we were going to
So
finish. Shall we finish the last couple of elemental beings first?
yes, and I want to do that first, because to continue with the discussion. So I almost think we won't have time for crystals today, but yeah, definitely, we want to do that. We want to do that for sure. So
crystals are massive. Like, it's just so intriguing once you start getting into crystals.
it is.
We tune into them. Oh,
It is. It's
so,
massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to make sure that we, have a lot of people that can ask questions, when we do the crystals part. So that's going to be very exciting. So for today, go ahead and let's go ahead and get centered.
Beautiful. And we'll connect back into our beautiful elemental energy. That was so obvious last week when we did that. I could really feel that energy coming through.
Yeah.
And they've been coming through a lot more this week, even in some healing sessions I've been doing. They've been really coming in. So we'll do that again. So if everyone wants to just get comfortable, take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, just let yourself drop into your body. Just come back into the here. Now shut your eyes. Another breath in. And this time as you breathe out, just drop into your beautiful heart space. And then see, sense or feel or have the intention of white light beginning to birth from deep within your heart. And as this brilliant white light comes through, it begins to expand, clearing any pain, any blocks within your heart. And it continues to expand through your body, up through your shoulders, your neck, your head, all the way down your arms, into your fingertips, down through your torso, your hips, this white light expanding down through your legs, all the way into your toes, until every cell is vibrating with this brilliant white light. It keeps expanding out into your energy field, into your aura. And as it does so, it clears any hooks, any cords, any ties that are going to people or situations that are draining you. And this beautiful white light brings through a sense of peace, of revitalization. And now we ask for our beautiful elemental beings, for their energy to come through and to join us today as we communicate through the realms, through the dimensions with them. And we offer them love, and we offer them safety and joy. And as they come through, we know we are blessed. So as we gently begin to come back into the here and now, just wriggle your toes, Gently take a breath, become aware of your breathing. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Oh, very good. I felt that one. I felt the tingles all over the body.
Yeah, and they're really excited. They're actually really excited to be connecting with us today. So
Yay! So today, like today, again, remember I was telling you about how I've been procrastinating on everything. My plan was to create a fairy house of those sticks that you have on ice cream like
yeah,
pops that
yeah,
so those kind of sticks.
pop sticks. Yeah.
Yeah, pop sticks. And I, of course, didn't get it done at all. I'm also trying to schedule a retreat, a local retreat here in Orlando, in a park. So I had to go look at the place. Anyway, I never got it done. So I apologize to the fairies in my area here, but that was something I wanted to do. And I did see a fairy. Um, little houses, fairy houses, but they were like all enclosed. I couldn't open the door. It was like hard. So I felt like that wouldn't work, right? Because they actually go in and out.
Well, they can go in and out also through anything, because they can just shift into another dimension, and then it's like one day we'll all be able to walk through walls, because once we understand and know the matrix, it's a little bit like we can go interdimensionally through things, because everything is made up of space per se. So yeah, but it's interesting you talk about making a beautiful fairy home, because my friend and I went for a walk in the forests that we have here in the hinterland. And I kept coming across little fairy groves, and I didn't have my camera with me to take photos. And I was going, right, next time I'm taking them. And they were showing themselves. It was beautiful. So, yeah, there was like old tree stumps, but they were covered in moss, and there was water and rocks. And you could see and feel these beings, these beautiful beings that were there. And, yeah, and because I guess I had that intention, I just kept finding these little places.
Wow, that's awesome. That
Mhm.
is awesome.
So we can find them in nature just by looking.
So is this a question for the cards? You think that a tree is the essence of a tree, the consciousness of a tree considered an elemental, or is an elemental a separate consciousness that lives in the tree?
Okay, we can ask the cards, and then if you like, I'll show you the animal magic card that is the dryad. It's actually the tree spirit. So
Okay.
yeah, so let's ask the cards first. So is that perfect? So the first card is the Wheel of Fortune. So to me, this is things can change. So I guess if you imagine us, we're in an avatar. We're an avatar. So we're in this suit. So the same with the tree dryads or the tree spirits. They are within their little outfit as well, which is the tree. So it's that consciousness interacting, and so once they've left that tree, they can go and be something else. So we have been trees in lifetimes.
Yes,
So
I've
yeah,
had people in the sessions that have been trees.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
and I know I have as well. And then this really confirms it, which is the next card, which is Temperance. And to me, this is always moving house or moving situations, and something that's sort of angelic or spiritual. So yes, they can move. So they can be in that place for however long they will choose to be, and then they can move on. And the Strength card has come up. So this card to me says that as we go through these experiences, we actually grow and expand and become stronger as well in spirit, and really understanding more of this earth and this world. So yeah, so it's a combination. They are, of course, that tree while they're in it, and then when they move on, they move on. So, but I'll show you a beautiful dryad card, So this is a tree spirit from our animal magic cards. Can you see that? And you can see the beautiful being within the tree, and then all the elementals, all the fairies and everyone. Actually, it's interesting. This card came up for someone I was doing a healing for yesterday, and it was so fascinating. This turned into gnome's ears, and because these cards change as you read them, and it was really obvious. And it's the first time I've actually seen that. I mean, there's a gnome in there as well. So, yeah, so they all interact. So.
Okay, so well, my question was really when we say elementals, because you just said the tree and elementals. So is the tree not considered itself an elemental, like a fairy? Is it?
Well,
that's the question.
Well, the tree would be the element, which is of earth. So we're an element of earth as well as spirit. So yeah, it's like I said, it's like we're wearing this physical suit, which comes through the earth. So that would be the same as the trees. Yeah.
So would the answer be yes? The tree itself is considered an elemental.
Yes, okay. The tree is, and the elemental is the being that's within that element. It's like, so if we go on to say our sylph, which is our next element, that elemental card, the element is air, and the sylph is the elemental being that is an aspect of that.
What's that called? Sylph?
Sylph. Okay, let me show you. So this is our beautiful sylph card. So as I said, this is the air elemental, and you can see the being and the wings, of course, because they work with the air, and that's from the direction of south. So when the sylph card comes up, or when I'm connecting into sylphs, the air is also our mind, so it's thoughts as well, but the sylph can clear the air. She's the wind. I mean, at the moment we're having these summer storms and it's so windy, and so I'm really connecting into sylph. Rather than getting agitated with the wind, I connect in and turn it into my friend. So it's the sylph coming through. So, and if there's those nasty little trails that get into the sky, that come out of planes, I actually call the sylphs in to help to release that and to negate whatever's in them, if it's not for our highest will and good. So
wow, that's a great idea. I usually just neutralize it. I'm like, I didn't consent to be sprayed to, therefore you are completely, transmuted. You can't affect me. I didn't approve of this. So
beautiful. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a sovereign being and I did not consent to this, and therefore it can't affect me.
Yeah.
So,
that's it. And I mean, we are powerful beings as well. It's just, I love connecting into them. So for me, it's like playing.
Yeah, but I love that idea. It makes it very magical. It's a lot more like fun,
It is fun.
Yeah.
And it's really connecting in, and it's helping us to become more connected to our beautiful elements as well, seeing them as real consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's great that you do that, though. Really good. So
yeah.
And you can watch it dissipate. Once you've said that, like what you've said, or once I've asked the sylphs to go in, you can actually watch it dissipate.
Yes. Yes. And we have a question here from the Andromedan. Can someone incarnate as an elemental tree being? And the answer is absolutely yes. I've had several people on my sessions. It's kind of funny. At first, they're like, I can't move. I'm like, if I try to move my arm, it's really heavy, and then, we find out they're trees. So, so for sure, yes. It's something that we do to learn what it's like. You can also incarnate as anything. I had someone who was a red blood cell. So it's all about being in the spirit, in that world up here of love and joy. And you're just like, okay, I'm a little bored. So what does that feel like to be the wind? And then you incarnate as the wind. I've had one person who was the wind, so it's really possible to incarnate as anything you can imagine. I had someone who, when I was doing the training for QHHT, we did like sessions with each other, and she found out she was a cargo ship. So even inanimate objects we can be. So it's all about the experience. It's all about saying, oh, I want to know what it's like to be an ant, and boom, you're there, you know? So so it's super, super interesting. And let's see, I have let's see. Here's that question for Jasper.
Okay.
There are different layers of space that occupies the same space. Is that right, Jasper? So what does Jasper have to say about that?
I'm just going to tune into Jasper. So he's showing me like a layer cake. You know how you have those beautiful gâteaux that have different layers with like icing in it, and then he cuts it down the middle. And so, yeah, absolutely. He's saying it's hard to describe, but that's what it is. So there's multi-parallel lives going on, or, you know, experiences going on. So space is definitely interacting, through the different dimensions. So if you look at that layered cake, then all sort of mushed up, yet it's still got its own little world going on. So I'll just see if there's anything else. He said, Maree, good try, but it's probably a lot more complicated than that. Okay. And he's saying again, also, if you imagine blowing up a balloon and then another balloon being blown up inside that. So, you know, and then
it's inside of it. I get it.
And then he said, if you let the air out of all of them together, then that's when things can merge, like, you know, I guess deja vus and things that we have when there's different experiences. Yeah. So he's trying really hard to explain.
I always love how he explains things. He does. He really is very good at explaining things.
Yeah. He's going, thank you. He is smart, but it's quite difficult because it's coming through when we use our intuition. When he's showing me, he knows what I'll be able to explain. So if he was actually talking with you, Elisa, it would be shown differently to you. So because that's how spirit works with our intuition and our brain and our pineal gland, everything that
imagine they have to go through like, well, what does she know, right? Does she like, because if they're going to show you something you don't know, then it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And I think because I've been a nurse and a midwife and I've done all sorts of different things in my life, sometimes it makes it easier because if there's anything they want to show about the body or medical, it's a lot easier for someone that's already got maybe an idea or can understand, you know, what they're trying to show. So, but and of course, because I love the galaxy and cosmos, I guess it's a little bit easier. But yeah, and he's got a good sense of humor, this boy. So, this crew. So, great question.
So Wolf says Jasper has a quantum brain.
Oh my goodness, Wolf Love. Yeah, Jasper's impressed with that one. He's going. Yeah, he's so big. Oh, he's loving this. He loves this.
I love it. So as we're talking about trees, I have a question. Mm-hmm. So you know how in specifically for those people that don't know about this, but in Harry Potter, there's the wands that people use. Oh, I forgot to bring mine again. So I have connected with this tree in a campground, and I brought back a branch because I had heard that the idea of wands is actually real and true. There's a reason why wizards and, spellcasters or whatever, they use wands. And it's because you can use the energy of the tree to do whatever it is that you want to do, right? So I wanted to ask the cards if that's the case. Can I, when I'm using a wand, which is a piece of that tree, can I use the energy of that tree to heal? I mean, I've healed myself with it. But I'm wondering, can you use it for other things? So first we got to find out, is it true? And then we can ask, like, what can you do with it, right?
Okay. Well, as I was shuffling, I don't know if you saw, but some cards dropped out. 2 aces. Where are we? That way. So the Ace of Cups was
Wow.
first. So that's the actual emotional aspect. All right. So that's our, so it also depends on our intention. So, you know, what are we using it for? So, but yeah, yes. So, and then look at that. Look at the wood. That Ace of Wands, which is spiritual. So I think you've got your
That's
answer.
amazing. That's
I mean, they
amazing.
just dropped out. So absolutely, yes. And I think I've shown you before the beautiful wand that my friend has left here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to grab it for you? It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Let me just see if I can get this out. Yeah, good. So this wand's name is Merlin. You can see it's made of wood that's
Wow.
actually been worked with and twisted, and there's a beautiful round a crystal ball at the one end, and then you've got the actual power. It's almost like a Vogel wand of crystal at the other end. This is extremely powerful, and as I've said before, we use this in when we do beautiful griddings and earth griddings, and Jasper Jasper and Merlin get on really well. They love being together. But yeah, so
Wow.
that's a wooden wand, you know, as well. So really powerful. And of course it depends on our intention. And there's always some of those naughty little beings that like to use it for the dark magic.
Well, that was
So,
my other question is, can the energy of the tree be used for bad stuff? So is it neutral? Is the tree neutral? In other words, the tree just gives you its energy, whether you're using it for good or bad.
let's check. Yes. So this is so the Pentacle is all about our earthly realm and whatever. So yes, it can. It's neutral, so it can be used either way.
Wow.
That again, that was yeah.
Well, I just
So
realized in Harry Potter it is used for negative. Now that I think about it, I forgot about that. But yeah, the good guys and the bad guys had wands.
yes, yeah. So
Oh.
it is, and of course we're also made. Well, we have been carbon, but we're moving into crystalline. So we can we can work with an intention that is not for the highest will and good of all, or we can work for the intention that is to help others and to be, you know, from the highest will and good. So we're the same, aren't we? So when you think about it, we're all birthed through the earth into this physical realm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow. So what else do you think we can obviously we can so the frill is an element, it's using the element of air.
What's that one? Sorry,
The frill, Phryll. Frill is the energy that's contained in this space that you don't see.
Oh, okay. I've never heard it called that before. I've just called it etheric,
Yeah,
Ethereum. Yeah,
it's
etheric
called
energy.
frill, Phryll.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank you. I've learned something. I love it.
yeah. So we did back when I was doing the videos with Elena. We talked to Annex and we talked about the frill. That was a whole. Actually, we did two webcasts about frill, and it's energy that you can literally ingest to heal your body, to give energy to your nutrition to your cells.
So, Lisa, would that be the same as like prana? So, when I'm connecting into earth and asking for energy to come through, is that similar to like prana?
You know what? Question for the cards. I have no idea.
There we go. I love it.
I love it.
So, because I work with electromagnetic energy, which is everything, which is what this earth's made up of, and I've always just used the word, you know, etheric or prana. So, yeah, that's a really good question. So, is it similar? Is it are there
Is
an
it the
aspect
same
of,
or
or
is it
the
a
same?
different?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. All right. So the first card that came up was the Page of Cups. So yes, it's like we are being offered something. So our intention, if our intention is what I'm getting, is to tap into an energy, that energy. I think it doesn't really matter what we call it. It's that intention of the energy and whatever's right for us. So whether it's a frill, was it a frill?
Frill.
Frill,
Yeah.
yeah, or whether it's prana, or whether it's etheric energy, it's going to come through as we need it. It's going to be offered to us as we need it. And then again, the Temperance card. So again, it can shift form. It can come in as it's needed for us or wherever it's needed. So yeah, so it's definitely, it's similar. Yeah, it's just it's a different word, I would say.
Okay, so so in the cards
Yeah.
are saying that it is the same. It's the same energy or not, or
It's the same.
similar.
It's the same energy. It's just a word, a different word we've
A
used
different
for it.
word. Okay, so it is the
So
same.
see how
Okay.
there's 3 cups there. It's like if you need cup 1, it'll be formed through as you need it, from that electromagnetic energy, from that space. So just different words, but same, all comes from the
Okay.
same source.
Okay.
Is what's coming up with this. So
Okay. This is a question. Do the trees have a preference on how energy is used?
ooh, that's a really good question. I'm wondering, I might just tune into the wand and just see. Okay. I'll pull cards on that, and then I'll tell you what Merlin just told me from the wand.
Mm.
Interesting.
I mean, I feel like we should have more question about wands and energy, but I'm, like nothing's coming to mind about that.
Yeah. So the first one we got was strength. So it's all around the intention of the person connecting with that tree or with that energy. And then again, it's unique. So each individual dryad is unique in its own way. So intentionally too, if they don't want to be used for something, then they won't. They'll almost disappear.
Oh.
So if you were meant to pick up that beautiful stick that you picked up in that park, then that was right for you. So that aspect of the tree wanted to be with you. And when I asked the wand here, she said, look, we are neutral. However, depending on the experience they want to have as well, as to who then they'll be connected with. So it's that same law of attraction as well.
So then can we ask if we are paired with
As in
the
paired.
ones that we pick up? Because again, I hate to base everything on Harry Potter, but in Harry Potter, I think I remember that the bad guys would look for a specific type of tree, while the good guys would look for a different type. So I wonder if you almost like how we have contracts to have a mother or father or whatever siblings in this life. Do we also have that type of connection or agreement with the trees that we work with?
Okay, let's have a look and see. So the Fool's the first card up. So what I always get with the Fool is that it's the unknown. So it depends where we're at within ourselves as to what we're going to attract with the trees. So so one particular person will be drawn to a tree. It's like using our intuition when we get drawn towards something. So, and then what's interesting is the Tower. So depending on who we are and on what our intention is as to how that is then used, again, going back to what the wand was saying, it's neutral. It's also up to what that experience that wants to have. So, and then the third card was the Four of Swords, and this is always around mystery and what's going on in our mind and what we're creating. So it's free will. So every whoever we are is what we'll attract, depending what's in our energy field and what our intention is. So yeah, it's like anything in life. It's, you know how it works. It's we're creating. So that tree, if we have a particular tree that we get attracted to, then there's definitely some sort of law of attraction happening with the energy of that tree as well. So now, as far as a contract goes, let's have a look at that, because it's that's a soul, if there's a soul contract. So if you're someone that maybe loves working with trees, or you work outdoors, then maybe that's the sort of soul contract more, you know, that you're thinking about.
Yeah, and Wolf Love literally read my mind, and this is something that I actually was thinking, was like, oh my God, this, I want people to know how intention is so critical in everything they do. That this is why a while back I had mentioned, during the daily meditations, I had asked people to do an intention for everything that they do. Brushing your teeth, when you're going to brush your teeth, what's your intention? When you wake up in the morning, what's your intention for the day? Are you going to have a magical day, or are you going to have a day that the universe will pick for you because you didn't have an intention?
Yeah.
So intention is something that you should have in your life every second that you're going to do something. Put intention behind it. When you eat, when you drink water, when you know, and the good thing is, when you do this, it puts you in the now moment. It brings you back to the now moment. You know, I'm going to drink this water to refresh my cells. You know, I'm going to, and so it really brings you to the now moment, and it's really magical. So go ahead, Maree. I know you got a good card.
No, well said, Elisa. It's so true. And also, too, if we're feeling a bit depressed or a bit flat, going into that will actually, and having that gratitude for what we're doing in that moment, will really help us to feel better. And it can be so quick. So you're not going to believe it. The first card we got was the Tower again. So this was the question around, do we have a soul contract with particular trees? And what jumped into my mind with this was the lifetime that I had as a gnome, where I was looking after a forest, and the forest got destroyed. So now I absolutely love trees, and I've been out planting trees with big tree groups. I always water trees and plants. It's like I have this real love for them. So maybe that's a contract that actually will help me to heal from the wounding from that lifetime. So, and the Three of Wands. So this is looking out to the future, but also whatever's been past. So we're creating our future again through our karma, through what our soul wants to experience. So yes, I absolutely believe that there is definitely connection with certain trees or with nature, that it's going to help us and reconnect, and then, like I said, shift some wounding sometimes. So that's when the magic happens as well. So, yep.
Hi, Liz. So Liz says, I have heard trees provide healing energy. How can we ask them for healing assistance? Can they help with other areas?
Yep. What are your thoughts on this, Elisa? What have you experienced this with your tree?
I use my wand, and whenever I'm meditating, I'll put the wand, like it's quite a long stick. It's long, so I'll prop it on the floor, because I'll be sitting on the floor, and I'll prop the other end of the stick on my ribs, which is usually where it hurts. Like my liver sometimes hurts, so I put it on the liver, and I'll be like, I'll call the name of the tree, and I'll say, Magdalene, I need your help healing this area of my body. And every time I'm done with the meditation, it's done. Like the pain is gone. There's nothing there. So again, it's about intention. What intention do you tell the tree? What is it that you want? And imagine that they provide whatever that is,
Yeah.
And she's also asking about if they can help in other areas too.
Okay, let's have a look at that. Now, that's a great example, Elisa. I've been a tree hugger since I was born. I think people thought, oh, who's that crazy girl again going hugging trees? But they just make me feel better, and I just love them. I exchange love with them and just sit with them, and yeah, it's very nurturing. But let's ask if they can help with other areas. Let's So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so definitely, so they're strength cards. So they definitely hold and transmit through a lot of energy that can actually help strengthen people. But you think about like how we build things with them. So the energy of that of them is coming through in our beautiful homes or wherever we go, you know, that has got wood. So you can still connect into the tree spirit even in the wood. So again, the magician has come up. So yeah, they can bring through magic, and you can see bringing from heaven to earth and earth back to heaven. So these trees, they connect into the grid lines of the earth, plus they go interdimensionally. And so yes, of course, they can help with any other areas. And so Liz, if you've got any particular question about what areas, then we can apply that to them. And it's really interesting that this card has come up because something else just jumped into my mind. So the judgment card has come up. So depending how we also treat the trees, that's also going to create karma, isn't it? So, you know, so for example, I went to help my beautiful friend set up her schoolroom a few years ago, and the teacher that had been there the year before, apparently she'd been quite angry and quite ready to leave, and she'd put nails in everything all around the wood to put to hang up whatever it was that she wanted up there. So I went around and I was pulling it out, and I could feel the pain of the wood as I was pulling it out. I was nearly in tears because of the anger and the emotion that had gone into that wood. And as I was pulling it out, I just blessed it and blessed it. And honestly, by the end of the day, after I got all these nails out, the whole room energy had changed. So it can also carry energy from the emotional energy of whatever you're doing with that.
Wow.
So that then will be held within that that wood. So because we're powerful creators, remember. So as Elisa has said, intention is everything. And that taught me so much. It just really taught me so much about how powerful our energy and emotions are. So just be mindful, you know, with what you're doing with plants, trees, everything. So
yeah, absolutely. And so Zoe is on here.
Hi, Zoe.
And she was asking, she's starting to feel elementals from fairly modern things like subway systems, urban environments, and even elementals within Wi-Fi. Is this ancient rebranding or brand new energies? Ooh, I like that question.
That is a question. I guess, is this what people are calling AI? You know, is this the little AI beings that have been talked about that can maybe affect how we think and feel as well? Should we ask that first?
Well, we should ask first if it's elementals, if it's an elemental, and if it's not, we can ask if it's the AI.
Okay. Okay. These are interesting cards. So the moon is the first one that's come up. So to me, this is around the psyche and around something we learn from. So it's almost like an aspect of us gets triggered. It's like the shadow side gets triggered. So what's coming through is that it depends how they've been used. Now, with all of these things that have been set up with Wi-Fi and everything, what was the intention behind it? So if the intention was a bit nefarious, was not for humans' good, has that sort of twisted so that this energy that has been formed actually has come through to affect us with that way. But is it changing? Because the Empress card has just come up. And to me, this is a really beautiful card. It's the feminine, it's the creator. So it's something that we can also now change and create those aspects that have come through with the intention of not being good for us. Maybe we can just flip them over now because, of course, they have a consciousness. Yeah, I think, Zoe, you're spot on. And they have their own strength, and what they do is how the intention has been set. So we can flip that intention is what I'm getting as well. So, because I'll show you something. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Thunderbird. So if we're talking about electrical charges, if we're talking about like Wi-Fi, it's all based really on electricity and different vibration and frequency. So Thunderbird is the lightning spirit. So again, when Thunderbird comes through, it's very fast changes. So maybe with our intention, we could really quickly change up these consciousnesses that have come through from Wi-Fi, maybe, and from subway systems as well, can be a whole lot of collective emotions.
So what comes to me is that the Wi-Fi is using air. It's using elements. So
it is. Yep. That's why I got the hit to show the Thunderbird, because that's the electromagnetics. Okay, so it's the electromagnetic energy as well. So if anyone wants to put something in there about, what their thoughts are, but Zoe, that's a great question. And I mean, there's always new frequencies or new consciousness being created, even just with our thoughts as well. So something that's so global. Absolutely, yeah. So
let's ask if these are part of the. Okay, let's ask something simple like, is Wi-Fi part of the element of air? Is it?
Oh,
I don't know how to ask this.
Is it an elemental? Is it an aspect of elemental? Yes, it is, because it's electromagnetic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and electromagnetic, remember, that's how our heart runs. It's all through electromagnetic impulses. So yeah, it is. So Zoe's onto something.
Yeah, for sure. Let's ask the question, is this ancient rebranding?
Okay, let's have a look. Ancient rebranding. Aha. Yep. Yeah, so the world card has come up. So absolutely, it's been here. That energy's been here, and it's just like it changes form. It can never die, energy, so it just changes form. And then the death card came up next to it, which is transformation. So yeah, this is showing that consciousness. And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So this can happen either slowly or it can happen quickly, but it's definitely working with something from the earth. The reality of that energy is transforming through. So yeah, it's conscious. Yeah, it's energy. It's electromagnetic energy, and intention, everything can change that. So a rebranding, I like it.
Yeah, because she had asked if there was a rebranding or brand new energies, and it sounds like it's rebranding.
Yeah. Well, electromagnetic energy it's what our earth is really at the end of the day. So, but we create with that. So we actually can create with that electromagnetic energy and vibration. And as the frequency raises, then we get more awareness and more consciousness to be able to create different aspects from that frequency is what I'm getting. So
can we take a look at your deck? Because if every time you come up with something, it makes me think of another question, like of the elemental deck that you've been showing us.
Yeah. So what do you want to have a look at?
Just the cards. Like, tell me what the cards are in the elemental deck.
Oh, in the elemental deck. So there's quite a few for the elemental deck. There's one we haven't looked at yet, which is celandine. Okay. So this is ether. This is the fifth element, ether. So celandine. And there's no other card deck that actually has this in there. This was this, I suppose, knowing and wisdom was brought through by Alexis, who made these cards. But you can actually see it's got the serpent body with the wings and the bird head. So it's actually it's ether. So this is all of the elementals, I guess, where it comes from, source. So the other one is phoenix. You would have all heard of the phoenix bird. So that just everything there's only one phoenix mythical creature on earth at a time. So things will get completely, when this card comes up, it completely clears a situation and the new can begin. So so that's another card that actually will
So
shift
tell me,
things.
so I'm confused with that one.
Right, why is that?
Okay, so phoenix I thought was an animal, or is it not a real animal, a real bird?
It's a the mythical bird, the phoenix bird,
Oh,
has
so
always
it's not
been.
real?
I didn't think there was an actual
Oh.
3D phoenix bird,
Oh,
unless someone can.
I thought there was. I had no clue. But remember, I grew up in Puerto Rico, so
Yeah.
I
So
might just have
so
assumed.
yeah, no. So my understanding is that it's a mythical bird, but it's said to only be one on the earth at any one time. And when
Oh,
that phoenix is ready to transmute or transform, it bursts into flames, and then from the ashes comes the next phoenix. So it's complete death rebirth. So yeah, so
oh
it's a mythical being. If
wow.
anyone's heard of the
Okay.
phoenix bird that actually maybe
Yes.
they've called something a phoenix bird that's on our earth, let me know. But I've always thought it was just a mythical creature that holds an energy.
I
So
guess we can ask the cards.
let's do that.
We forget. We have
We
that.
forget. Let's see. So is it an actual in our 3D reality? Is the phoenix in our third dimension that we live in? Let's have a look. Okay, so the death cards come up, which is transformation, transitioning. So I'm getting that it's not what we would say, oh, there's a phoenix bird and pick it up and hold it. Okay, so and then the next one is our Eight of Swords. So this is when we're trapped. So to me, it's that energy that comes through when we're trapped to actually release us from something, from not being able to see, not being able to move, into a place, the Queen of Cups. So into a place where we actually have more emotional wisdom, more emotional stability, and can create from a different place. So I would say that it's actually not
Yeah,
on
I
this.
think, for what came to me intuitively, what I just kind of received was that the cards were just telling us what the bird does. Like, like the bird, like you say, it's a change in a process that leads to a higher state of being.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
So it's not a bird,
it's not
basically.
a bird per se, like it's not a penguin, or it's not a, how we have penguins or whatever. To me, it's that, yeah, it's so look in another, it probably, well, it does. It would live within another realm or another dimension. So
Right.
that
Yeah.
frequency that comes through.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
yeah, I think Ashley had it. Maybe the phoenix is more of a consciousness. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I am not going to say this name because it'll take me forever, but
Oh, I love that name.
Elisa to
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
so to breathe thrill, we just set the intention for all higher love thrill to come to us so we can fill ourselves with good ones. So basically what Annex taught us was that the best way to get thrill is to be standing on wet soil, wet grass, and then close your eyes and just, as he called, open all your little vacuums, almost like a vacuum all over your body, like tiny little vacuums. And now start imagining that these vacuums are pulling in that air, and it's actually a green energy. So what I do is I imagine a green energy coming in to my body and then filling up. I put the intention that it either heals something that could be hurting, or that it could or heal my cells or go into my cells for immunity, whatever. But I also have used it to put, because also Annex said we could do this, to put it like in a ball that we can send to someone for healing, or if they're going through a hard time, to help them. So it's really energy that you can intake into the body and then put intention to do something with it, and then it does that. So
Yeah, no, Lisa, and that's exactly how I work when I'm asking for energy from, say, Mother Earth. I always stand on the ground with bare feet and open myself up to receive any prana, any any minerals, anything that I actually need to come through. And I literally what you just said. So it sounds really similar, which is great. So yeah.
okay, so here's a good question. I was wondering if you could talk about ice beings, elementals. I haven't heard as much about them. How can we connect with them? All right, so I mean, Maree, do you have any there? Any in your deck?
So yes, so the undine. Now let's look at what ice is. Ice is frozen water.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still when ice is still holding that undine energy. So water can be boiled or it can be frozen. It's still undine energy. And we went through this one last week, and that's around emotions, remember? So I always know if I'm around, like there's not much ice where I live, but when I have been in countries where there's like been beautiful ice and snow, I really connect into this undine elemental being. That's still the consciousness of ice. So that's something you can do, and that's why sometimes you can feel either really emotional or whatever when you're around a lot of snow and ice. And it's, so there's a lot more water compacted in to smaller areas when you think ice freezes. And so, yeah, it's just something to keep in mind is that beautiful undine.
So when there's snow, is there like each flake of snow is an undine, or how does that work?
It's a consciousness. So how I see it, because I've asked this question for myself before around water, and I go, yes, so does every drop of water have an undine in it? Well, it's like, I guess if we look at all humans, we all have our own beautiful spirit, but it comes from the same source. So it's the same as water. Yes, there's definitely different individual undine energy, but it still comes from that same source within the water. So I'm going to ask the cards to see maybe to get some clarity on that.
Yeah,
But
what just came to me was that just like with fairies, fairies have different personalities. They're each different, but yet they're from the same place. So
exactly. So, and different crystals, like, so for example, this is a beautiful rose quartz crystal. The consciousness and the frequency that comes through this crystal is different to, say, my dragon crystal. So exactly right. So it's the same with water, even though it's all connected and it's all one. And is it a closed environment? Has this water been continuously on Earth, and have our sort of great grandparents actually swam in the same water that we can swim in? It's But we can ask the cards and see if that's correct about the individual. Let's do that. I'm actually going to ask the undine energy to come through to pick these cards. So let's tune into our beautiful undines. Okay, so what I'm getting is, again, like us, we're all connected, but there's still a lot we don't understand around it. So, because this is the hidden card. However, they all have a role to play. So the consciousness and frequency can be created when it's needed in different situations. So with that Five of Swords, but it can change quickly. Okay. So, so, and then we got the Tower card again. Gee, it's funny, isn't it, how different cards just come up the same
week. But this one is kind of weird for elementals to come, it's weird.
And it's, for what I'm getting with the Tower card, is it's explaining maybe how these different frequencies and presentations of the undines come through. They can change very quickly. So they can shift. Like, you imagine you've got massive ocean waves coming through, and then there's a beautiful still pond. So they can change depending on the energy that's coming through that element as well. So, yeah.
Very interesting.
So that was a great question about the ice beings. So,
Yeah. Okay. Oh, where is it? And Ashley was wondering if that's because I don't know what she's asking about though. Is that because water is an electrical conduit?
well, I
Do
guess
you
if we
know?
look at, the component of water, it's like anything they say, don't, have your hairdryer in the bath with you because you can electrocute yourself. And it's because it's like when you boil water, it moves a lot faster, but it can conduct electricity. So, yeah, a really good question. And maybe that it can conduct frequency a lot quicker than, say, something like the earth or a tree. So maybe it's, faster moving vibration. Let's find out. And
Okay.
it's like the air, that would be it's another conductor, isn't it? But water is one of the best conductors. I mean, I wasn't brilliant at physics, so if anyone can let us know, but I'm pretty sure that water is actually one of the best conductors. So let's have a look and see if that's why. Yeah, because each of them are different. So all of them can work in a way that we maybe don't even know yet. So the King of Wands is the master of its own being. So yeah, I would say definitely it's a really good electrical conduit, but it's a consciousness as well. So it's not just on a physical level, it's also on a spiritual level with that King of Wands. So it's
Okay. Zara was asking me if I've done any regressions where past life came in as an elemental being. Yes. I've had the wind. I've had tree. The wind, tree. I don't remember if somebody was a water droplet. I don't know why that's coming to mind. And now I really should study this deck that you have because there's many elementals in there I've never heard of. So
and there's a beautiful book that comes with it. Hang on, let me get. And so you can actually read through where they come from, like what they do as well. So yeah, and I think I remember you saying last week that you had someone that was a gnome as well, because we were talking about the gnome last week with your regressions.
Yep.
So
Yeah, gnomes too. Yeah.
So, and that's something like we could all do is if you could always just meditate and drop in and ask to remember the experience that we had maybe as water or as a tree. And I've done this once, and I connected in with a tree, and I said, I know I've been a tree. And I said, how do I actually remember that? And the words that came through was just be the tree. It was like, so yeah, just be. So it's so you could maybe experiment with that as well. So
Yeah, for sure. So how many we're out of time, so I wanted to see how many cards we haven't looked at that maybe we need to have a third session on
well,
elementals.
I know it's crazy. Okay, so there's a couple here so we could even do maybe next week if we wanted to do the crystals, because we have the crystal fairy.
Yep.
And then of course the unicorn, because these two guys sort of go together. The unicorn helps the crystal fairies travel interdimensionally. So I mean, it's up to you, but we can start with that and with crystals. And it was interesting because a friend and I did a healing swap last weekend, and this card, I pulled this card, and she said, Maree, this is Jasper, and he's actually going to take you all deeper and deeper into the realms. So, and what the beings came through as was these ancient elemental beings through this cosmic portal, like deep in the cosmos. And so there's a lot of ancient elemental energy that's now coming back on or being remembered on Earth with this new frequency, like from Lemurian times. So yeah. So
Yeah, so that
could do that.
definitely we could do crystals, and guys, for sure bring your questions for crystals. And it's the more the merrier. We'll probably what's it called? Have to do several of those because can you imagine all the questions we can have? So
Yeah, exactly. So, we can just sort of whatever questions come up for each one at the time, we can work that way as well.
So
Yeah.
what else did you have in there? So you have the crystal fairy, you have the unicorns, because
Yeah,
that could be a show in itself,
that's
probably.
what I'm
The
saying. So
unicorn, but
crystals, like there's so many different aspects to crystals as well. It's massive, and I'm sure most people watching probably have had experiences with crystals or love crystals. So even if you have your own sort of favorite crystal, and we can connect in, to different crystals and see what comes through, or just see what properties they have that could be helpful for us as well.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
so
Very
yeah, so
cool.
there's a few other elemental ones, like the dragonfly. When that card comes through, that tends to bring through elemental energy as well, because it's interdimensional. So there's lots we could look at.
Okay, very cool. So we'll keep working with that deck. And for people that want to get that deck, can you give them the details?
Sure. So I'm going to be getting some in as well, but meanwhile, you can just get them through transferencehealing.com. Okay, and they can send them out, but I'm actually going to get some in as well for people. So
Okay,
yeah, I'll
okay.
organise that this week.
Yeah,
So
and it's called the what deck?
the
The
Animal Magic deck. Let me just grab my little book again. So it's the Animal Magic deck. Okay.
okay. And so it includes elementals? Is that what?
Yeah, it's got all of the elementals in there. It's yeah, so there's just so many beautiful cards. It's got different animals that have different meanings, and
So is
like
that the same deck? The elemental deck is the same as the
it's
animal
all
deck?
within it.
It's all
Yeah,
one deck.
it's all
Okay.
one deck, so you don't have to buy different decks. It's all in there. It's very comprehensive, and they're just magical. I'm actually next week. I'm wanting to record like 5 15-minute little sessions on how to connect into our intuition, how to set up a space if we're starting to learn how to work with cards, and how we can actually then read cards and have more confidence. So that's something I'm hoping to record next week. So
Oh, I love it. I
yeah,
love it. I love it.
fun. And I'll
Awesome.
use all different decks, so people sort of then you get drawn to different decks that have different energy.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
so that's on my list of things to do next week. No, I'm not working a job.
Yay, exciting.
Yeah, it is.
So, for anybody that wants to have a session with Maree, her website is magicmaree.com. And you already know me, you know where to find me, quantumlifetransformations.com. So, but really looking forward to keeping this discussion. Also, we want to start doing a new show about more like, I don't know, like
World events.
regular, yes, world events or things that are happening, around, your area or whatever, like, so if you guys get any good ideas, let us know. We still haven't decided what day and what time we're going to do it, but it's something that we want to look at.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful for you. And please, if you want to help us, please share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and leave us a comment. We always love to hear from you. Any ideas on the next topics, anything like that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We send you a big hug, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Yes. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye. Jasper says goodbye.
Bye, Jasper.
Bye,